Well, while America is distracted,
Wait, what?
exactly. So if you've been on the internet in the last 30 days, you've seen the videos, you've seen the viral footage of the Costco in Frisco. We're talking about the state of Texas looking completely transformed. They've seen their demographic change very rapidly here in the past 10 years or so. You've seen the local Frisco City Council meetings turn into absolute battlegrounds with people screaming about an invasion, the Indian invasion, the Asian invasion. But let me zoom out for you guys just a bit, because Frisco is just the latest flashpoint. If you think this is just a Texas problem, you are asleep at the wheel. Look at the Silicon Valley and Santa Clara, California area. Look at the Edison, New Jersey. Look at Cary, North Carolina, or Bellevue, Washington. Across the entire United States in major tech corridors and suburban strongholds, the demographics are shifting overnight. And the right wing, oh man, is running around with their hair on fire, completely ignoring how this actually happened. But this is changing the workplace. This is changing America, not just for Republicans, not just for Democrats, but for Hispanic Americans, Black Americans, white Americans, Asian Americans, people who've been here 4th and 5 generations plus. This is a rumor that's floating around the internet right now. People are saying that if you walk through the streets of Mumbai, India, that there are literal billboard signs telling people to move to Frisco, Texas, move to Edison, New Jersey. Now, I did the research on this. While you might not find a literal neon billboard pointing out to a random American suburb, you don't need a billboard when you have an entire coordinated multi-billion-dollar corporate pipeline. It is a pipeline built on H-1B visa programs, corporate greed, and the very deliberate nationwide displacement of American workers. So let's break down the demographics and the legality, because here we're going to deal in facts and not emotions. Are the vast majority of these Indian immigrants in these tech hubs here illegally?
I see.
Are they sneaking across a river in the dock? No. The one buying 800,000 homes in Cary, North Carolina, and dominating the local school districts in Bellevue, Washington, are here legally. They are brought in on H-1B specialty occupation visas. They are L-1 transfer visas, or they came on F-1 student visas and utilized the OPT program. They dominate information technology, software engineering, and the medical fields. But just because it is legal does not mean it isn't a finesse. The H-1B visa was originally created to bring in highly skilled foreign workers only when an American couldn't be found to do the job. But what did corporate America do? What did corporate America do? What did America do? Not Indians. They're just taking the opportunities. As if I was in a country like India, I would take the opportunities to make 6 figures in America and have a big house in my own land and live a great life. I would do the same. But what did corporate America/America do? They turned into a legalized indentured servitude program to depress American wages. And they're using people like Indians to do it and have them to look like the culprits. No. Massive offshore consulting firms like Tata, Infosystems, and Wipro figured out how to game the U.S. visa lottery system. They flood the zone with hundreds of thousands of applications, grabbing the majority of visas, and import workers who will code software for $80,000 instead of paying an American $120,000.
Huh?
Now, granted, they come in family sizes, so you have one person making $80,000 and another person probably making $130,000, and they stay here longer. They keep gaining higher wages. The American dream. And because that worker's residency is tied directly to their employment, they can't complain and they can't easily quit. So again, America's saving hand over fist by not hiring American workers. They have to pay you $40,000 to $50,000 more so than H-1B visas they bring over. And as a result, American citizens, both black and white, Hispanic and Asian, who's been here for generations, are being systematically locked out of the very industries that we went into student debt to enter. But here's where the absolute disrespect comes in. Here's where the historical erasure happens. When these suburban city councils from Texas to New Jersey get cornered by angry citizens asking why the demographics of their cities are changing overnight, they start scrambling for excuses. And who do they always use as a shield to justify it? They use us.
Okay.
Happens to come from India. They came here legally. We've had this happen before in our history. We've had it happen with the Irish. We've had it happen with the Germans. We've had it happen, with African Americans. We've had it happen.
Wait 1 minute, you low down, dirty scoundrel.
I'm so sick of these people. You know.
No, it did not happen with Black Americans. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to set the record straight. We have to clear the record straight. Because did you hear what this man just said? We've had it happen with the Irish. We've had it happen with the Germans. We had it happen with African Americans, aka Black Americans, descendants of slaves. Let me correct the record for the Frisco City Council and every other suburb running this play. Black Americans who are descendants of slaves are not immigrants. So it didn't happen. We did not hop on a boat in the 1900s looking for a better economic life. We did not apply for an H-1B visa to code software in Silicon Valley. Do not mix us up with Black immigrants from the Caribbean and Africa. We're something different. African Americans, descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, has been on this land on record since 1526. This is the San Miguel de Guadalupe settlement in present-day Georgia and South Carolina. This is 81 years before the British even established Jamestown in 1607. Do not ever equate a corporate visa program to the bloodline that built the infrastructure of the empire, unfortunately, for free. We did not migrate to a neighborhood. We built the roads leading to it. We built the agricultural wealth that funded for the universities that these tech companies recruit from. To call Black American immigrants is a deliberate political tactic to strip us of our indigenous claim to the wealth of this nation and lump us in with people who arrived at DFW or Newark Airport this last Tuesday. Now, let's talk about the right-wing hypocrisy here. The MAGA crowd is furious right now. They are protesting at city halls across the country. And why? Because this displacement is finally hitting their wealthy, gated suburbs. When gentrification was wiping out historic Black neighborhoods in Brooklyn, Atlanta, DC, Chicago, what did the conservatives say? They told us, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. You built the country, didn't you? You did it for free, didn't you? So I guess you can do it and get paid for it. You don't need anything else. It's just a free market. But the minute the free market decides that a foreign tech worker from a staffing firm is cheaper than a white suburbanite in Plano or Bellevue or Edison, suddenly is an invasion. Suddenly they want government intervention and investigation into visa fraud. They only care about job displacement when it affects their zip code. My prediction is based on evidence. This nationwide H-1B visa tech bubble is about to burst and is going to be economically violent. Why? Artificial intelligence. The very coding, data entry, and mid-level IT jobs that these visa programs are exploiting are the exact jobs that AI is currently learning to do in seconds, milliseconds. In the next 5 years, corporate America won't need an H-1B worker or an American worker to write basic software. An algorithm would do it. We are going to see these massive tech layoffs from California all the way to the East Coast, and these newly built McMansions in these tech hubs are going to face a massive real estate crash. Fact. Furthermore, we are already seeing the staffing firm fraud bleed out of tech and directly into the healthcare and legal sectors. So what is the solution for Black Americans? First, we demand federal legislative reform that ends H-1B lottery system entirely and requires companies to pay visa workers a premium wage, 150 minimum, so they can no longer be used as cheap labor to undercut American citizens anywhere in the country. Now, some people are like, hey, that can actually backfire because then they'll just pay them $150,000. Or will America invest in its own? I don't know. These are just ideas that's coming to my mind. They just pop it in my head. That don't mean that they're good, but there doesn't need to be a brainstorming session. Okay. This is one of those think or drown sort of things. And second, Black Americans, we must pivot ourselves our youth away from oversaturated mid-level tech roles and dominate AI-proof industries, right? Plumbers, electricians, infrastructure engineers, advanced robotics maintenance, and ownership of the hard assets that run the grid. They can replace a coder with a visa or a bot, but they cannot replace the man who owns the contracting company building the actual physical data centers. Stop letting them use our history to justify their corporate finesse. We need to know our lineage, protect our labor, and execute the couch vote against any politician in this nation who calls us an immigrant on our own land. We won't stand for it because here's the thing. The 1526 historical fact that the settlement of San Miguel de la Guape in present-day Georgia, South Carolina marks the first recorded presence of enslaved Africans in what became the United States 81 years before the founding of Jamestown. So Black Americans are not immigrants. We predate the country itself. And then nationwide demographic expansions, according to recent city surveys and census data, the Asian Indian population in tech hubs like Frisco, Texas, Edison, New Jersey, and Bellevue, Washington have been, and these are just examples, there are more than that. These are just examples, have grown exponentially over the last 2 decades. In Frisco alone, it exploded by over 4,500%, moving from a marginal percent in 2000 to nearly 1/3 of the city's population by this year. The H-1B visa wage depression reality investigations by the Economic Policy Institute had revealed that H-1B programs is routinely used by offshore outsourcing firms like Tata, WePro, and Infosystem to hire temporary foreign workers at lower wages than U.S. workers, displacing American IT professionals and depressing overall industrial wages nationwide.
Wait, there's more.
Some are calling the Indian population growth there problematic. There are accusations that some visa holders maybe gained their work status fraudulently and took American jobs. Our Marvin Hurst tonight, looking for answers.
For all the things that Frisco is known for.
I also see people who were evicted because their job was replaced by H-1B workers.
A fight over demographics has led to some uncomfortable conversations.
People from India are walking in, not even going through the proper channels to apply, while Texans are going homeless.
That seem like fighting words. One of the most vocal is self-proclaimed journalist Mark Palaciano.
I have no political affiliation. I don't identify with the left or right. I identify with all Americans, even the Americans that disagree with me, even the Americans that call me racist for what I'm doing.
Palaciano feels like he's led the charge to get people to notice numbers he says deserve a closer look in Frisco. He describes it as an, quote, Indian takeover, end quote.
I've grown up around a lot of different races. But when a population, the Indian population in America is 1.6%, but in Frisco, it's exploded to 33%. That's not diversity.
Here's a breakdown of the demographics in Frisco, which remain overwhelmingly white. Then there's Asian, which lumps in Indian, Hispanics, Blacks, and so on. So what's wrong with that number?
It's a good question. I don't know how to answer it, right? Because what is the right number? Now, I don't know. Now, I think if America's population is 1.6% Indian and Frisco's is 33%, that just seems like a very big difference to me.
What the hell was that all about?